In the farthest reaches of the galaxy, where stars are few and shadows stretch endlessly, a faint distress signal pulsed through the vast silence of space. It was a call so weak and desperate that most civilizations had either missed it or chosen to ignore it. The message came from a planet known only as the Deathworld, a place shrouded in mystery and fear. The name itself sent chills through the hearts of many. It was a planet famed across star charts for its harsh environment, where poisonous storms swept the land and gigantic predators roamed freely. Many alien species avoided the Deathworld completely, convinced that no one could survive its brutal landscape, let alone send a signal for help. Yet against all odds, the SOS kept repeating, steady and clear, igniting whispers and debates throughout the galactic forums. What kind of being or beings could endure such a place and still call out for aid? What danger lurked beneath the planet's deadly surface that required assistance? While the alien empires hesitated, locked in fear and suspicion, humanity stood apart. The human fleet, led by Captain Lena Merrick, a commander known for her courage and quick thinking in impossible situations, set course for the Deathworld. Humans had always been seen as reckless or fragile by many other species, but their spirit of curiosity and hunger to prove themselves was unmatched. Lena felt a pull, a mixture of duty and something deeper, something that told her this mission could change everything. As the fleet approached the planet, the crew readied themselves for whatever awaited them, knowing little about the true challenges ahead. The planet below was a swirling mass of dangerous storms and jagged mountains, the surface scarred by unknown forces, whispering secrets only the brave dared to uncover. Unseen and unexpected, a massive starship moved through the thick, toxic atmosphere of the Deathworld, its hull battered but unbroken, piloted by the elusive Deathworlders themselves. This ship had been hidden from the galaxy for centuries, its people believed extinct or myth. Now it was returning, drawn by the same distress signal that had caught humanity's attention, carrying answers that would shake the very foundation of galactic power. The coming collision of human courage and Deathworlder mystery promised to ignite events no one could have foreseen. As Captain Merrick's fleet circled above the forbidding planet, every crew member felt the weight of history pressing down on them. The fate of their species, their allies, and the future of countless worlds depended on what they would discover next. The air was thick with suspense. The galaxy was watching silently, waiting to see if humanity would find salvation or become another forgotten victim, swallowed by the Deathworld's deadly embrace. As the human fleet edged closer to the Deathworld's orbit, the atmosphere aboard every ship grew tense, thick with anticipation and unspoken questions. The air felt charged, as if the entire crew sensed that something monumental was about to unfold. The planet below was a swirling tempest of violent storms and jagged landscapes, a place few dared to approach, and now it seemed alive with a new presence. Without warning, a shadow emerged through the dense atmosphere, massive and imposing, a starship unlike anything humanity had encountered before. Its hull was heavily armored, scarred from countless battles, shaped by a design that spoke of raw strength and survival against impossible odds. This was no ordinary vessel. It belonged to the legendary Deathworlders, a species rumored to be nearly invincible, shaped by the planet's harshest conditions. Their bodies were toughened by the toxic air and violent weather of the Deathworld, with skin like thick armor and eyes sharp enough to see through the densest storms. Their technology, though seemingly crude compared to the sleek ships of other civilizations, was brutally effective. Every weapon and system built for one purpose: endurance and victory. Fear and curiosity rippled through the human ranks as the Deathworlder ship maneuvered with a strange grace, signaling a willingness to communicate but on its own terms. Captain Lena Merrick knew that this moment was crucial. Despite the natural mistrust that had existed for centuries between humans and the Deathworlders, she stepped forward with a bold offer of alliance. She understood that if humanity hoped to survive and thrive in the galaxy, they needed to learn from these fierce warriors whose knowledge of survival and combat was unmatched. The Deathworlders listened, their silent presence commanding respect, but their response was clear and unyielding. Trust must be earned, not given, Strength and honor were the currency of their world, and any alliance would require humans to prove their worth in trials designed to test every ounce of spirit, courage, and resolve. As the fleets hovered in the planet's shadow, a challenge was issued, one that would push humanity beyond their limits, forcing them to confront dangers and truths far greater than they had ever imagined. The fate of not only the human race but many others hung in the balance as Captain Merrick prepared her people for the trials ahead, knowing that only through unity and unwavering determination could they hope to stand alongside the Deathworlders. Suspense gripped every heart and mind. The galaxy waited in silence, poised on the edge of a new chapter where friendship and rivalry, danger and hope would collide in the unforgiving shadow of the Deathworld. The moment had come for Captain Lena Merrick and her crew to descend from the safety of their starships and face the harsh reality of the Deathworld itself, a place where nature was not a friend, but a relentless enemy. The planet's surface was a brutal landscape of jagged rocks sharper than blades, poisonous plants that released toxic spores at the slightest touch, and predators with senses so keen they seemed to predict every move before it happened. The Deathworld was alive in a way that no one had ever experienced, a living test of strength and survival that demanded respect. Lena and her team had agreed to the Deathworlders' challenge, understanding that only by proving themselves on this hostile ground could they earn the trust and alliance necessary for the uncertain future ahead. The trials were designed to push every cadet and crew member beyond physical limits. Days stretched into nights filled with danger, where quick decisions meant the difference between life and death. Teamwork became more than just a strategy. It was a lifeline. Each challenge forced the humans to think on their feet, adapting their technology and instincts to a world that refused to bend to their will. The Deathworlders watched closely, their expressions unreadable, yet the respect they showed grew as they observed the humans' determination and inventiveness. Meanwhile, the galaxy held its breath. From orbit, alien powers both curious and cautious sent silent signals, waiting to see if humanity would falter or rise in the face of overwhelming odds. Suspense filled the void as every moment on the Deathworld seemed to draw humanity closer to either a triumphant future or a devastating end. But beneath the surface of these trials, unseen threats began to stir. Hidden traps laid long ago or perhaps recently hinted at darker forces at play, forces that did not want this fragile alliance to succeed. Shadows moved through the forests and caverns, watching, waiting for a chance to strike. As Lena and her team forged stronger bonds with the Deathworlders, sharing stories of survival and bravery, an uneasy feeling grew that this was not just a test of strength, but a battle against betrayal and fate itself. With every step deeper into the planet's wild heart, the stakes rose higher. The trials were no longer just about winning trust. They had become a fight to protect not only their own lives but the very hope of unity in a galaxy desperate for change. The tension was electric. Each challenge solved, each enemy faced, brought Lena and her crew closer to an uncertain destiny, where courage, wisdom, and an unbreakable spirit would be their only weapons against the dangers lurking in the shadows of the Deathworld. As the days passed on the Deathworld, the fragile trust between humanity and the Deathworlders began to take root, born out of shared hardship and the relentless trials of survival. Yet just when it seemed that an alliance might blossom from the ashes of suspicion and fear, a discovery shattered that hope and sent waves of dread through both camps. Deep beneath the planet's jagged surface, an ancient prison cracked open, revealing a force far beyond anything either group had imagined. The original distress signal, long believed to be a simple cry for help, was instead a dire warning. An alien entity of unimaginable power, locked away for centuries, was stirring, threatening, to burst free and unleash devastation across the entire sector. This entity was no ordinary foe. It was a living catastrophe, a force of destruction that had shaped legends and nightmares for countless generations. Captain Lena Merrick and the leaders of the Deathworlders quickly realized that old grudges and rivalries could not survive in the face of such a threat. They were forced to put aside their differences and pool their strengths, blending humanity's quick thinking and inventive technology with the Deathworlders' hardened resilience and intimate knowledge of their hostile world. The looming danger demanded more than just brute force. It required cunning, courage, and sacrifice. As they worked together, tension soared, and the clock ticked relentlessly down to the moment when the entity might break free from its ancient prison. The battle that unfolded was as much mental as it was physical. Strategies were tested, alliances strained, and every small victory was hard-won. Humanity's engineers and scientists devised ingenious ways to reinforce the seals holding the entity, while Deathworlder warriors braved deadly terrain to secure key points of defense. In the shadows, unseen dangers lurked, attempting to sabotage, their efforts adding layers of suspense and uncertainty to every step they took. Yet amid the chaos, a remarkable unity began to shine, a testament to the strength of combined will and shared hope. Captain Merrick's leadership became a beacon, inspiring both humans and Deathworlders to push past their fears and embrace a future where survival meant standing together. The final confrontation was a breathtaking clash of determination against destruction, where the very fate of the planet and nearby star systems hung in the balance. In the end, it was not just strength or technology that held the line, but a profound belief in the power of courage, trust, and the unbreakable spirit of those willing to face the darkness together. As the dust settled, the galaxy was forever changed, reminded that even in the shadow of ancient horrors, hope could rise, and humanity's spark could light the way. The crushing defeat of the ancient entity beneath the Deathworld's scarred surface marked not just a victory over a terrifying force, but the birth of something far greater, an alliance forged in fire and shared struggle. The galaxy's long-held fears of the Deathworlders as savage outcasts began to fade, replaced by a growing respect for their fierce courage and unyielding spirit. No longer were they isolated warriors fighting for survival on a forgotten planet. They emerged as honored allies standing shoulder to shoulder with humanity and other races who dreamed of a safer, more united future. Captain Lena Merrick, having guided her fleet through darkness and danger, now found herself at the center of a historic movement. With steady determination, she led the charge to build a coalition, an alliance of diverse species bound by trust, cooperation, and the recognition that the galaxy faced threats too vast for any one race to fight alone. Her leadership was both inspiring and practical, combining human innovation with the Deathworlders' raw power and knowledge of the harshest environments. Together, they crafted strategies and technologies designed not only to defend, but to explore, expand, and ensure peace across star systems long shadowed by fear and conflict. The human fleet, once dismissed as fragile and inexperienced, had become a beacon of courage and ingenuity. Their ships, sleek and powerful, now carried the flags of many worlds as symbols of hope and unity. Across the vast expanse of space, more species began to answer the call for cooperation, drawn by the promise of mutual respect and a future where diversity was strength, not division. As starships assembled beneath bright constellations, the air buzzed with cautious optimism and the excitement of new possibilities. Captain Merrick stood on the bridge of her flagship, her eyes steady and thoughtful as they traced the endless tapestry of stars beyond the viewport. She knew this was only the beginning. Humanity and its allies faced many challenges ahead, mysteries to unravel, and dangers to confront. Yet the bonds formed in the crucible of battle had created a foundation, strong enough to withstand the darkest nights. In that moment, with the stars shining bright like promises yet fulfilled, she felt a deep certainty. The story of humanity was no longer one of isolation or fear, but one of leadership, hope, and the unbreakable power of unity. The galaxy, vast and filled with wonder, awaited the next chapter, written together by many hands, hearts, and minds united across the stars.